Hi guys, and welcome back here to the Dev Realm, and today we're going to be carrying on our series. And if you guys remember, what we did in the last episode is that we did the remove item part. And what I would like to do here today is that I would like to create a simple vendor, and I would like to sell my items and display the player currency on the bottom. So if I press play here right now, what I would like to do is that on this screen, I want to press tab, and I want to show my currency right here. And what I would like to do is that when I get the items, I'm going to have a new button here called sell. And of course, I'm going to display the quantity and how much we would sell. And then we would display here the quantity, right? And then after we do this, guys, what we're going to do here is that we're going to start to integrate with the server, all right? So hopefully that will be easy to do. Nice. So the first thing we're going to do here is that on the inventory item list, we already have the item quantity. So we don't need to worry about, we already have the quantity and the sell price. So all you got to do here is that we are going to basically create a literal string. All right. We're going to plug this one right here. Now we're going to do that. Now I'm going to line everything. Now I'm going to append, all right? And here I'm going to add another pin. I'm going to just add a simple space. And I'm going to do X and another pin, and I'm going to put the quantity. And now I'm going to put this one right here. And that will tell me more or less how many items I have when I capture. So if I go back here and I get the items, right? Open up, I have 2 apples. And go back there, I should have another one. Now I have a problem that when I touch that, is not reloading the items. So one thing that we need to do here, let me just close that for a second. I'm gonna go back here to my gameplay. I'm gonna open up my controller. And I think here we have, the controller, not the game mode. When we add the item, we add the item on the server. That's adding the item, is doing this stuff. And we just need to call that method here, this one, right? To refresh our inventory system. It's not, you could create actually, let's right click here and let's create a macro. Collapse to a macro, and we're going to call this reload inventory. Copy that. We're gonna paste it right here. Do it like that. And now we're gonna compile and save this. And now we should be able to get that data. When you get the data and when you delete, and then does all sorts of things. So now that we have that stuff done in place, the next thing I would like to do here is that I want to add a new function to display the player currency. Because if you guys remember the inventory data, we have our money or currency. I'm just going to call money or gold, doesn't matter. So to do that, we're going to go to our inventory. We're going to open up our widget, right? And on the border, I am going to create here another border. Drag and drop this one right here. Now, inside this border, I'm going to bring a text, all right? And this text, we are actually first, we're going to make sure that this border has like, I don't know, opacity, actually no, the tint. Let's do a better way. Let's go back to, remember the assets that we downloaded, right? The UI. Let's see if there's something nice that we can use to display, because at the moment we don't have anything useful. We have counter. Let's check what do we have here for counters. I don't know why it's defaulting with Firefox. Let me just change that to open up here with what is it? That's a SVG, I see. That's my bad. PNG. So we're gonna go back here, maybe buttons. Do we have anything nice? We have this square. Yeah, you know what? let's just use what we have. So let's go back to our main texture. And let's bring here our, let's say this. Yeah, this sounds good. So I'm going to drag and drop right here, right? And expand it. Now the text, I would like to center everything in the middle. And the font, I would like to add the font that we always do. And I'm going to add here, let's say, how's it called? Stroke. It's not stroke, it's called, how's it called? Text font size outline settings, and I want to make sure it's 1 or maybe 2, right? And I'm just going to change this color a little bit to like yellow or actually green, right? Like some, you know, muddy color. Now let's see how does it look. So when I open the game and I open my inventory, I should have text block. Great. So that's my currency. We're going to use that to display our currency, all right? Now, the next thing that I would like to do here is just put a dummy value, like say 100 or 1000, doesn't matter. Now, the next thing we can choose is make sure you put size to content. And we're gonna set this right on the position 0, 0, 0 0.5, maybe 1. And maybe this is gonna be 1 or 0 in this case. Great. Now this is gonna be, the text is gonna be the money, right? Or our currency or something. Make sure it's a variable. Then we're gonna go back here, compile and save this stuff. Now, when I first load all this stuff on the main inventory, we call this API reload, right? What I would like to do here is that when it is completed, we're gonna get the money. We're gonna set text, all right? Sorry, let's call the method. It will work, but it's nice if we use the method. Now we are gonna break here our, sorry. We have the items that we're passing. We have the controller reference. We're gonna get the controller reference. Now, actually, let me double check here. Now, when I create the inventory, I pass the items. So I'm gonna create a new called money or currency, right? Actually, guys, let's do it properly, right? Let's just, I don't know why I did this. So I'm just gonna go ahead. I'm gonna delete actually better than delete items. I'm just gonna call this inventory data, all right? st inventory data. Change type. So this is gonna take a while, all right? And instead of like, you know, passing data and create a bunch of things that we have to, let's just pass one object. That's the one we're working off, all right? So now that we have the stuff, some things is gonna start to fail, but that's fine. Let's just make sure that, not even here, sorry. In the inventory, you change this to a single, all right? This is gonna take some time to compile. And now we're gonna compile and save. Right click here and press refresh. Untick this, select that, and put the items right here. Great. Nice. Now the next thing I would like to do here is that I am gonna get the items from, I'm gonna just break, all right? And I put the items right there. And compile and save. And yeah, there should be, I'm gonna select everything, right click and press refresh nodes. Compile and save. I think we are having, so st of items. I see the problem. The problem is because we need to do something, let's say, and well, actually, let me think about it. Yeah, we're gonna need that. That's fine. That's fine. Don't worry about it. So unplug this, click on this, you know, this item here. Make sure it's a single. Plug the single, sorry, compile and save. Plug this one right there. Oh yeah, sorry. We need to change this to st inventory. Nice. Now we're gonna compile and save. Everything should still look a little bit broken, but we're gonna figure out the rest. Now, the only thing you gotta do here, really, is that we're just gonna get the items. We're gonna break. I'm still gonna get the item here. Great. Now the next thing we want to do that is we're gonna get the money, and I'm gonna plug the money right here. And that's all we need to do. Now we're gonna press play. And now we should be able to see the money. Of course, it's 0 at the moment. I think this is crashing. All right. My engine has crashed. I'm just gonna restart the engine. I think it crashed because we changed now the structure of how the items are selected, and sometimes it does that. So once the engine is back and running, I'll resume the video. All right, guys, I have just resumed my my engine here. So let me switch here. Now, let me just close that. So if I press play again, oh, there's an error. Let me check. Where is the error? So if I refresh, yes. Okay. Now we just need to figure out those errors. That's fine. We just need to plug the data now. In here, we just need to plug the data, refresh, compile, and save. There we go. If I press play, now we should be, oh, good. Nice. We have money. And the way we can test if we have money here, right, is that actually we need to create now the logic to add the money. But if you want to test it, just if you want to mess around and, just do, testing with this, all you got to do on you just set the money here on the item to, let's say, 500. And now when you press play, you should have 500 right there. All right. Let's leave it as 0 because the information will come from our database server, which is something you still have to build. Now, now I would like to build the thing to add a currency, right? And here we are gonna add, we're gonna be very, let's say, strategic about this. I'm gonna create one method to add or remove the coin, right? How much money you have. Because let's say, I mean, we could, create an add and delete, but it's fine. Right, so we're going to create a custom event. I'm going to call API handle money. That must be run. I think this runs on the client, right? Runs on the client. Yep. Reliable. Now we're going to add 2 fields. Is adding and the amount, right? Amount. Now what we need to do is that we're going to copy and paste, and we're going to add here, let's say, server. All right. Server, yeah, server level. Nice. And now this is going to be, let's say, a multicast, right? Well, make sure it's server. Make sure it's reliable. I think this is also reliable. Yeah. Now what we need to do here, guys, is that we are basically going to create here a branch. All right. And we are going to basically, if we are adding money, all we got to do is that we're going to get our player, not the appearance, sorry. Oh, that's on the wrong place. I'm sorry. Just delete those events. I need to do this on the BPC player inventory because that's the right place where we have to do. My bad. Let me just copy and paste those nodes back here. But anyway, nothing changes. So what happened is that when we call those, we're going to just call this event, adding and that. Now I'm going to create here a branch. Put it this one right here. Great. Now we're going to get our data. We're going to break this inventory. And if we're adding the money, we're just going to add, right? And the amount's going to be this. And that's pretty much all you got to do. Sorry, not add. Increment. That's it. That's the one we're gonna do. Nice. Now if you're removing, we're gonna call decrement. And here's the thing. Now here's where, you may want to create a game where you're going that, but on my case, I just want to make sure that if I'm below zero, I set my value to 0. All right. And to do that stuff, well, let me just double check. So this runs on the server. Okay. We just need to change a couple of things here. It runs on the server, and here runs on a multicast. All right. But anyway, now we're going to create here a branch. We're going to create a branch that if this is less than 0, we are going to get this, and we are going to set member. We're going to set money to 0. All right. That's it. That's all we need to add or remove the money. So add or remove money. And the good thing about this is that we are, it's just integer values. So that's okay. Now on our controller, we're going to create here a custom event, API, handle inventory money, right? And now I am going to get that, and I'm going to call that method, right here. I think I need to run on the client and run on the server. Yeah, I'm going to have to do this. So this is going to run on the client. I'm going to copy and paste. And I'm going to run another one that runs on the server. I may not need to do all this stuff. Let me know what you guys, if you tried in the different ways, and if it's working with less, creating events. Because I'm at this moment, I am not really sure if I need to create something that runs client first and then servers, and then run on the server that runs on the client. So it's a little bit messy, but it's all right. I'm gonna do that, this and here, right? That's good. And now what I would like to do here on our list, right? Go back to our list. Player, let's say widget here. I'm gonna be very simple here. I'm not gonna, I'm just gonna create another button to sell the item. All right. Duplicate that, and I'm gonna call this, let's say sell. All right. I'm gonna put the sell here first. Nice. Now this is gonna be original color. We're gonna call, let's say, plus 1000 or something like that. I don't know. So what we're gonna do here, make sure it's a variable, but when we load the data here, we're gonna get this information. Set API, API doesn't have any API. I see. Set text button, and I think we may need to adjust this item right now. Let me edit this. Let's go back. Right, yeah, we need to adjust here. So just create here custom event called API set text. We're gonna move this one right here. All right. And then we're just going to call down the pre-construct. Nice. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back here on my, let's say, where is the list? Here, right? Now, all I'm going to do is that I set the text, right? The text, if you guys remember, that will be our, let me copy that, our price. Now, we're going to call an event called API set text, which just runs the data. Indeed, I could just, plug it right there, but it's okay. And now let's see if that works. Let's see if this is actually starting to display how much money we can sell this. 1111, and that's 1. Now let's check if this is true or not, because on our inventory system right here, there you go, we put a price of 1. So let's just put the price of sword. So right now is at 200. So let's do 112 or something like that. I don't know. Now I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna set up this to sword, and I'm gonna press play. Now, if we've done everything right, our sword price should be 112. We do have the quantity, so what we could do here, right? Very simple math. We just go back to where we load the list. Gonna do like multiply by the quantity, and there you have your data right there. So if I press play here, there you go. So 2, and then, because I had 2 outputs, 1, then it's 2. All right, guys, so now what we need to do here, I think before we wrapped up, is that let's create the event callback, and let's just basically, duplicate this. Where is it? Can I copy and paste? No, I can't. Anyway, duplicate. I'm gonna call this ev delete. Cell item. Now, I only need the index, right? Which in this case we call item index. So I'm gonna call the same. I'm gonna make sure it's integer, right? I'm gonna get this call, and now I'm gonna get the event cell, and I'm just gonna bind with ev bind ev button clicked. I'm gonna create here a custom event called API cell item. Plug it here, and now the only thing you need is just the item index. All right. Nice. All right, so now that we have the event binded, right? Nothing gonna happen, right? We still need to bind everything. Let me just double check if when I click it, doesn't do anything. But anyway, now let's do the cell part. I was gonna do it the next lesson, but I think I really wanna wrap this one up. This is holding us a little bit. So now when I press on that button, when you create the item here, remember that we bind the delete, right? We need to do something. I'm just gonna put the list right there to bind ev on when we're selling the item, right? And now the next thing we need to do here is I create a custom event called API sell item, right? Now we are gonna get our player controller, and we're gonna call API handle money or something. Handle money. Sorry, that's the one. We want to use the one that if you click it, it runs on the controller first. All right, because we want to make sure that the controller has authority to run this stuff. Now what we're gonna do is that we're gonna plug this one, let's say the amount, and we're gonna mark it's adding. Nice. Now if you did everything right, so you're gonna go here, it's gonna do that, it's gonna do this, gonna go back here. There's one thing that we're missing, the item index that we want to remove. All right, item index. All right, and the item index will also need to be added right here. Item index, we're gonna plug it right there. We're gonna plug it right, we need to plug it right here. But one thing I forgot as well is that we don't really need, on here in the main inventory, the amount. All right, we don't need the amount because we get it from the index. That's a issue that I forgot to do. So we're gonna delete the amount. And if you guys are probably asking, oh, but why are you not putting the amount? I'll show you in a sec. Now this is set up. Now we're gonna click it here. You're gonna change the amount here to call the item index. All right. Also here, you're gonna change the amount to item index. Now all we got to do here is that first we need to, you know, get or find, or sorry, we need to break this, get a reference here. And also I would like to validate index just to make sure in case someone put, like, you know, put a wrong item index. But anyway, so now we're doing this stuff. We put in the index, everything is good. We are passing all the stuff properly. Great. Now here, what we gotta do is that we need to figure out how much money we need to give him, right? So I am just gonna delete this part, right? I'm gonna break, and I'm gonna do the price. Actually, yeah, we need to get the price multiplied by the quantity. And that, in theory, should be how much money we should be giving or removing, right, from the player. Yeah, we need to plug it right here. That needs to be 0, sorry. Nice, so now if we did everything right, we are adding. It goes here, we pass the item index. It goes here, it passes the item index, pass the item index. So if I press play, and I go back here and do this stuff, and I press sell, I think it works. It's just well, let's double check you know, what's going on. So we do all that stuff, which is great, but let's do F9 here, and let's see if this hits or do anything, because I may not be doing much. So it's doing here, it's coming back, so it's sending that back here, and now here we are adding, let me just do print hello, and I'm just gonna copy this and put it here, something like that. Now we're gonna press that. So the client say hello, which is great. So it's working, everything is working up to this point. And now let me just do a print here and see why is not being set. I think it's because we still have to set the value after the end of this. But yeah, I do have to set the value after that. Okay, that's fine. Don't worry about it. Right, so what we're gonna do here is that we just need to set member money, and we're gonna put the money right now here. And we need to do the same for when we do it right here with the right output here. Now, one thing that we need, let's say, to do here, right, is that we need to call the API remove delete item. They all need to be converted to this one node, and that needs to pass our item index right here. Now this is looking a little bit like a spaghetti, but you know, we can always refactor that. Now if I press play, I should be able to get the item and delete it right here. Now the thing is that I had 2 items. Let me get the apple. I think that's fine. I think I just had a issue in yeah, okay, I know what happened. So I had 2 swords. So if I delete that, if I delete this and delete this, there's like a little bug, but actually let me double check if we have the money sorted. If I have the money sorted, we can redo this in a sec. So you see the money that is increasing, which is good. So 225 apple. Right. There is a problem, is because, okay, I'm gonna have to do a better logic than this. This add is not doing anything, to be honest. Anyway, so we're gonna do the money, you know, times whatever. And if we are adding, right, we're gonna get here, we're gonna break. we're gonna do this plus this value, right? I'm gonna add it right here. Great. Now the subtract is the same thing, but instead of doing plus, right, we're just doing subtract minus that. And if this here equals 0, less or equal than 0, then 0, otherwise we set the current money, and we should have the right data being set to the user. 24, 26, and if I go back here and get that, I got 28. I think what's happening here is that because we have like 3 items, and one of those items are getting replicated, but let me just delete that. So I'm not entirely sure if we have an issue with the UI, with the inventory yet, or if it's just the sword. And yeah, but so far we got the money added, and there everything's replicating properly. If I go back here, I have 0. Great. All right, guys. So what I'm gonna do here is that for the next one, I'm gonna start maybe to refactor. Sorry, to add an exit button here, and then we can start to implement our server. All right. So once again, thank you very much for watching, and I see you in the next one.